Hello again, Gills fans. Welcome back to the latest episode of Gills in the Blood TV. It's Monday review time, and unfortunately, it's the second Saturday in a row where I'm looking back at a game that Gills have let slip away, and this one is probably terminal in terms of the playoff bid. For the second consecutive Saturday, for the third time in 8 games, we've managed to lead 2-0 and not see out a game. Just had a quick look at the table. If you look at the Doncaster game, the Oxford United game and Saturday's game against Northampton Town, in which we've led by 2 goals in all of them. If we'd managed to win all of them, we'd have another 7 points. We'd be currently 5th in the table on 70 points and well in the mix of the playoffs. Unfortunately, we're not. We're still 5 points adrift with only 6 to play for. Other teams have games in hand. And come Tuesday night, if results don't go away, the playoff dream could officially, mathematically, 100% be over. But I think, in truth, it is already. It was always a long shot, like we've said repeatedly. Yeah, just another massive sense of a frustrating opportunity missed. It was a really good performance for 2/3, 3/4 of the game again. We started really bright. First half was like the Alamo for Dane Oliver, who else opened the scoring after returning from injury. Really good finish. And yeah, at half time at 1-0, it was a case of keep doing the same things. And there was only one side in it, wasn't there, really? I think Dominic Samuel had forced a really good save from the keeper. Mitchell, after a pinching possession off the Northampton centre half, really good stop with his legs to prevent it from going to 2-0. I remember Carl Dempsey, curling effort from the edge of the box that was going in. Keeper made another decent save. And the only real chance that the Cobblers had was through us, through our own mistakes. Stuart O'Keefe gave the ball to Jack Tucker on the halfway line, and he turned round and a short back pass got their player, I think it was Alex Jones, away. No composure, no confidence in the finish, and blazed it into the rain men, which was great from our point of view. And he was hooked at half time. I'm not sure if it was just because of that miss, but that was the let off. But second half we came out and we started well again. We created bits and pieces. We got into good areas. We got into good crossing opportunities. Ryan Jackson's throw-ins were causing a problem. Front two that have not played together too much were linking up really well. But it was Ollie Lee, midway through the second period, with a really good goal. Jack Bonham's initial long goal kick was cleared back to Ryan Jackson on the halfway line, and he cushioned the ball into the channel. And Ollie Lee had loads to do when he picked up possession, didn't he? He had a defender in front of him, a defender behind him. I think he used the decoy run of Carl Dempsey really well. Dempsey got on the outside. It looked like he was going to slip him in for all the world to try and get a ball across the 6-yard line and into a dangerous area for the likes of Samuel and Oliver, who could attack it. But Dempsey made that run. Ollie Lee managed to swivel, and it was a great finish. There might be a slight nick off the defender as he makes contact, but it's a really good finish from the angle of the box, across the keeper, into the bottom corner, hit the side netting inside the goal, which shows just how good the finish was. And 2-0 for the Gills, and results were going our way, weren't there? All the teams around us were dropping points at the time, and it looked like being a pivotal afternoon and a positive afternoon. 2 soft goals have cost us again, unfortunately, haven't they? We've switched off at a vital time. The first one, ball into our box. We don't pick up runners. Then we have to try and make a last-ditch clearance. It bounces off our defender. I think it's Jack Tucker, effectively. Lands at the feet of Edmondson, I think it was. It's a smart finish into the bottom corner. Got no quibbles about that. Jack Bonham's got absolutely no chance with it. And it gives the away side the confidence to go on and try and get something from the game, doesn't it? And I mentioned on the Match Day Live that how long would Northampton leave it? How long would they keep settling for it to be 1-0? And how long before they made attacking changes and got on the front foot and tried to influence the game? Because at that time, draw was no good for them. Draw was no good for us. And they did make them changes. Mark Marshall came on. I thought he made a positive impact for them. Unfortunately, had to be a former player, didn't it? He whipped one effort, I think, just wide from the outside and right-hand side, got onto his left foot, which we know what he did for us when he was with us for a brief time last season. But he was getting to the byline and he was getting into dangerous areas, and we were struggling to contain that. And the second goal is not brilliant from our point of view again, is it? It's a corner into the 6-yard box. We don't pick up our man. Jack Bonham then has to come and try and punch it and doesn't get near it. And Fraser Horsfall heads it into an unguarded net. And from a position of strength, position of still having a real chance of the playoffs. I think it was 3 points at the time. Playoff dream was in tatters again, wasn't it? And it sounded like copy and paste, like I've mentioned on the Match Day Live. I was saying the same things that I'd said for the last 15 minutes against Oxford the week before. And we looked like we'd learned our lesson at Peterborough in the week, put in a really resolute defensive performance, scored a good goal and won 1-0 and kept a brilliant clean sheet against one of the division's top scorers, one of the division's high flyers. But that problem came back to bite us on the backside on Saturday, and we let a really good position go. And unfortunately, in terms of promotion, now it's all over, isn't it? I think looking at the games tomorrow night, it will officially be over by full time in them midweek fixtures, and we'll get onto them in a second. The key moment for me, second half, and I can understand why he took it on. He's our top scorer, and I'm not going to criticise him. He's got 19 this season for Dane Oliver, but it was one where he got the ball on the byline. He's decided to shoot, and the keeper saved with his legs from a narrow angle, but he's got Carl Dempsey, and he's got Dominic Samuel, I think it was, or Ollie Lee. Penalty spot, edge of the 6-yard box, simple cutback. It's an open goal, effectively. We would be 3-0 up. Game would be out of sight. But I kept saying at 2-2 there was still another goal in it. I was wrong eventually, but I was convinced there was going to be a fifth goal in the game. I wasn't sure who it was going to come from. Jack Bonham's made a really good save from Danny Rose before the equaliser, and then Dominic Samuel's big moment. I've said since he come back I thought he'd have an impact in terms of the playoff run, and I thought that was going to be it and going to keep the dream alive. And he got the ball just inside the box on the left-hand side, dropping a shoulder onto his right foot, and he's whipped a really good effort. Keeper's beaten all ends up, but it's cannoned off the inside of the post. And for me, it was Wigan flashbacks from 97, 98 a little bit, and that was it. That was the dream dying. That was the promotion bid finally being extinguished for good. It doesn't detract from what's been a really progressive season for me. But yeah, it just felt a bit flat, didn't it? And a little bit frustrating because of the fact that, as I've already mentioned 3 times in the last 8 games, we've led by 2-0, and we've taken 2 points from them 9 available, which is really, really annoying. But we'll learn from it. Still a young centre-back pairing, still lots of youngsters in the side, and we'll come back stronger. And let's hope we can finish the season as strong as possible and pick up 6 points in the last 2 games. But that is enough about Saturday's game. There are a lot of fixtures in League 2 on Tuesday night, so I'm just going to run through them quickly. Streaky Lee's nickname continues to come to the fore. Sunderland against Blackpool this weekend is a huge game in what is now a playoff clash. Teams out of form. Sunderland, 3 defeats have been followed by 2 draws. Better performances, but conceding too many. Blackpool have picked the worst time to lose back-to-back games. They got beat by Shrewsbury at home at the weekend. A really poor performance from all accounts from Tom, my co-host on the Third Tier podcast. And for that reason, I'm going to go for a final score. Sunderland 2, Blackpool 1. Accrington Stanley versus Portsmouth's a really intriguing tie for me. I mentioned on my weekend predictions, it's difficult to work out which Accrington Stanley are going to turn up. They looked like they was going to get beat comfortably by Sunderland the weekend and ended up coming away with a really good 3-3 draw. Portsmouth back on the winning trail after a sticky patch of 4 games without a win, but it was only against a really, really poor Bristol Rovers side. I'm not sure how this one's going to go, so I'm going to sit on the fence and say Accrington Stanley 1, Portsmouth 1. Shrewsbury, another odd side for me, and they take on Lincoln City. I said a couple of games ago that I thought their season was fizzling out, and the results were saying that or suggesting that their players were on the beach, but they then go and beat Blackpool at Bloomfield Road at the weekend to prove me wrong. Aaron Wilbraham continues to do a really good job while Steve Cotterill's still away from the football club. Lincoln, no disgrace in losing at home to a Hull City side, but they had been in decent form before then. Hull are going up. It's been confirmed now. Whether that's as champions or runners up, we're not sure. I'm going to sit on the fence again. I'm going to say Shrewsbury Town 1, Lincoln City 1. Burton versus Fleetwood's got a real end of season feel about it now, hasn't it? Both sides are safe and have done well since managerial changes in the winter. Both picked up decent results on the road at the weekend. Burton picking up a point at Wigan, who've been flying of late, and Fleetwood going to an out of sorts Doncaster, keeping a clean sheet and winning by a 1-0. So it's a 3rd consecutive 1-1 draw on the bounce for me. I'm going for a final score of Burton Albion 1, Fleetwood 1. AFC Wimbledon against Rochdale's a real relegation 6-pointer still, isn't it? You imagine if Wimbledon win, they're definitely safe. A draw's probably good enough for them as well. Rochdale will have to win the game to keep themselves within a real chance of getting out of trouble. Both picked up decent points at the weekend, didn't they? Wimbledon kept a clean sheet on the road at Portman Road. Crewe were leading going into injury time, I think it was, against Dale, but they managed to pick up a really late equaliser. But I think the Dons will have enough in this one. They'll plunge Rochdale back into real relegation trouble with a 2-1 win, which will see them safe. Final score for me, AFC Wimbledon 2, Rochdale 1. Charlton have been absolutely superb on the whole, haven't they, since Nigel Atkins took over. I know they lost their unbeaten record at the weekend, but it was against Peterborough, who were gunning for the title. Crewe, like I've already mentioned, picked up a 1-1 draw at home to Rochdale, but should have seen it out better. Charlton, still real chance of the playoffs, and I think for me, that motivation to give them the edge in this one. I'm going to go for a final score of Charlton 2, Crewe Alexander 0. Final fixture Tuesday evening is Peterborough still trying to reel in Hull, win the title against Doncaster, woefully out of sorts. Playoff dream extinguished long ago with only one win in about the last dozen or so. Peterborough, after getting beat by us last midweek, reacted like I thought they would with a win at Charlton. Donny, like I say, out of form, low on confidence. Can't see anything other than a home win. I'd make this my home banker this week. I'm going to say a final score of Peterborough 3, Doncaster 0. Thanks as always for watching and listening. I hope you're enjoying the new feature where I look ahead at the fixtures during the week or on a Saturday. You know where we are on all 4 social media platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Please keep liking and subscribing. If you are new to the channel, drop a subscribe, hit that bell so that you get notifications of every new video that I upload. Don't forget, we're back live this evening on the third tier, me and Tom, with a couple of really good guests discussing the fallout from the weekend's action. And don't forget to keep downloading the Fan Hub app. Be back on Wednesday looking ahead to the game against Burton Albion. But until next time, enjoy your week and up the Gills.